Hello, I am Wander001 and this is my review of the Google Chromecast. It is a media streaming stick similar in some ways to the Roku streaming stick or a Roku set-top box or Apple TV box. The major difference between those devices and this device is the size as well as the price. I will start this review off with saying this is the cheapest streaming device on the market today. It can be purchased from anywhere between $35 if you get it right from the Google website or $32 if you watch Amazon for a decent deal. So we're going to start off with the general specifications of the Chromecast here, mainly being the size. It is 2.8 inches in length, has a width of 1.4 inches, and has a depth there, as you can see, of 0.5 inches. It also weighs only 0.02 ounces, so it is an extremely lightweight device. Size comparison wise, since you know I like doing that, here is a standard deck of cards. As you can see, it fits easily on top of the card pack and obviously is not quite as thick. Moving around the device, you will see the top as well as back is made of a matte black finish, which is rather nice. The front port here is a HDMI connection, male version. So this part goes into the HDMI female on your TV. Most newer HD TVs will have an HDMI port, so you plug this into that. The sides are made of this shiny plastic, which it's okay. It doesn't really hurt it because this sits behind your TV anyway, so you're not going to notice it. Coming around to the back, there is a micro USB port as well as a reset button, which may or may not be easy to see if it'll focus there. There you go. It also has a power indicator light. The Chromecast is not the only thing that you get in the box, so we'll discuss what else you have. You have a wall wart plug because the Chromecast is powered by this. This is a 5-foot USB, so it's USB to micro USB that plugs into the back of this. Most TVs, newer TVs, even my slightly older, really cheap TCL TV has a USB port in the back, which will power this device using the cable. If you don't, use the wall wart and plug it into a wall socket so you can power the device. Now, speaking of power, this device, which is, in my opinion, one of the other benefits it has over something like a Roku or Apple TV, and I love my Roku, this device only uses 1.7 watts of power when idling. So that's when your TV's on, when you're not actively on the HDMI port that has the Chromecast. If you are casting from it, it uses 2.5 watts of power. Now, the Roku XS, which I have, uses 2.5 watts no matter if it's idling or you're streaming from it. It's always 2.5. This actually has like a little mini power saver mode. If you turn the TV off, it uses 0 to negligible amounts of power, meaning I could not pick it up using my particular Belkin Energy, which I use to monitor electrical use from devices. So negligible to none. Another benefit that the Chromecast has is its ease of setup. You really plug it in, power the device on, and the setup process for me was like 3 minutes, and that's only because I was reading every screen. If you just kind of go through the on-screen setup, you'll be done much quicker. You do need a companion app on your smartphone or tablet, or download a program to your computer to set up the Chromecast. Now, once you have the Chromecast set up, the way you utilize it is one of 3 ways. You either use a smartphone, a tablet, or you can cast from your computer if you have a plugin for Google Chrome. Now, if you are going to be casting from an Android tablet or phone, you're going to be using Android 2.3 or better. If you're using an iOS device, you're looking at iOS 6 or better. And if you're casting from a computer via the Chrome tab using the plugin, Firefox supposedly coming soon as of filming of this, you're going to be looking to use Windows 7 or better. Using these devices will allow you to, in essence, throw the information from your peripheral, the computer, the tablet, or the smartphone, to the Chromecast, which has its own little self-contained universe. It has its own Wi-Fi that it transmits, and once you set it up, it lives on your Wi-Fi. However, if your Wi-Fi network is turned off and you do a search for Wi-Fi networks, you will see a transmission coming from the Chromecast. Nobody can get onto the Chromecast, but that's just its way of connecting to your network and you setting it up. Now, if you are concerned about people getting into your Chromecast and casting things to your screen that you do not want, you don't have to worry about that, because only devices that are on the network that you have the Chromecast attached to will have access to send information to the Chromecast. There is an update that's coming that will allow anybody within your Chromecast area, in this case, mine would be in my living room from the TV. It would send out a very, think of it like ultrasonic sound that only devices in the immediate area would be able to pick up. So your friends could hypothetically would be able to send things to the Chromecast without actually having to log into your network. So some of the major players for Chromecast, when it originally launched, was kind of limited. However, it's been out for almost a year now. And the list of participants who will add this little casting button, which I'll show you a little later, has grown exponentially and will continue to grow, I'm sure, because this is a very popular device. So I will throw a link in the description area below so you can read all of the different supporting formats for the Chromecast. Now, originally, I did purchase this because I was going to give it to my brother as a cheap means of streaming media when he got a place of his own. However, I ended up keeping it because the Roku XS, which I have, was supposed to update Netflix to include profiles. However, they have not yet done this, and they said by the end of 2014. Well, as of filming, it's pretty close to the end of 2014, and they still have not done this. So generally what I'll do is I'll take Netflix from my phone and my profile and cast it via the Chromecast here. Now, I do have a 1080p TV, and I must say the picture quality is rather nice, and again, I will be showing you this a little later. So you don't have to worry about the picture quality with the Chromecast over Wi-Fi. As long as you have a decent ISP connection and Wi-Fi signal, you will be okay. Now, I did neglect to mention, and the Wi-Fi signal reminded me, the Chromecast also comes with this. It is a HDMI extender. If you're like me, you have, well, you might not be like me, but my TV is in a cabinet, which you will see again later. And the only HDMI cable, HDMI port that I have left is on the side of the TV. So I use this to snake it around. And have this part bent, and that's dangling in the back. According to the very slim instruction manual that comes with this, this HDMI extender can also be used to increase the Wi-Fi signal of the Chromecast if you are having difficulties picking up a signal with just the Chromecast. I cannot attest to what the signal was like just with the Chromecast, only because I wasn't able to get to a port that wasn't actively taken up already. Now, I know I've been doing a lot of talking, and you want to see actively casting to a TV screen because that's why you're interested in this. So let me just quickly go through the last few little bits of information I have about the hardware here before we get into the active streaming via the different methods. In my case, I will show you via a smartphone as well as a computer, because those are the two methods I have available to me. If you are casting from a computer, if you're doing a tab cast, you will see, and it'll be easier to understand, there is a little bit of lag between the casting tab and the TV set. Some of the benefits, though, to having the cast from the tab, if you don't have a Hulu Plus account, which would then activate the casting icon on the particular video stream itself, you can cast Hulu from a tab. The quality will not be quite as good as if you were casting from the Hulu player itself, but it's acceptable enough to watch. And if you have a blocking of ad feature on your computer, that actually carries over to the Chromecast without delay, at least as of now. If you watch Hulu on your computer with a ad block program installed, you have to sit there through the black screen and just, read the thing that says, please remove, support your local Hulu, whatever you want to call it. If you stream it to the Chromecast, you don't have that. And in fact, the play just continues on with a short little blip and then moves on to the next segment. Now, if you have a sound bar, like a Sonos bar, my friend has a Chromecast as well and a Sonos bar, he does say that there is a little delay in the audio versus the video when watching, utilizing a Sonos bar. So it's almost like watching a foreign film where the mouth is moving and a few seconds later, then you hear what the people are saying. It can be a little distracting, and perhaps in future iterations they will fix that, but that's what you have to contend with right now. So enough of talking and staring at this, because I know it's probably gotten a little boring looking at the static Chromecast. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you casting from a computer as well as my smartphone. I will show you Netflix and YouTube and explain what happens to your smartphone or tablet when you start casting to the Chromecast, or what it will look like and what you can expect when casting from a computer. So let's go take a look at that now. Okay, so the first method that I'm going to show you is via a smartphone or a tablet. This is the Chromecast, we'll call it home screen. When you first go to the Chromecast, you are greeted with this, a screen that has a picture that rotates in the background, as well as the time in the lower right-hand corner, as well as credit to who the photo was taken by. On the left-hand corner, you may or may not be able to see the name of my Chromecast. In this case, I named it after myself just to make it easier when I was doing demonstrations and so forth. Normally it is called Living Room, since that is where my Chromecast lives. To start off, I will show you smartphone. It works the same way for a smartphone or a tablet. And what we're going to do is, there's two apps which I will show you, Netflix and YouTube, because these are probably the two primary apps that you're going to use. There are plenty of other ones that you can use. And again, like I said, I will link them in the description below. To start, we're going to go into YouTube. Now, I do have it set up already on one of my videos. You will notice in the upper right here, this icon. This icon is the casting icon. If you click on it, it will start to connect to the Chromecast. It will send the YouTube signal to Chromecast, and as you can see there, it changed the background image. So the cast icon up there, or when we bring up the video, as I have it in pre-roll, there is a casting icon there as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit the overall cast button, and it's going to give us choices. Now, I do have a Roku which will accept sending information to it, as well as Wanderer, which is right there. So we're going to say we want to send this information to Wanderer. You'll notice that down there, the video that I have already queued up is sending its information over to the Chromecast, and it automatically starts playing. Now you'll notice if you've seen any of my other videos that it didn't quite start off with the hello this is. That is partially because wherever you leave off on the video on the smartphone or tablet, that information is sent to the Chromecast, and then Chromecast automatically picks up where your cell phone or tablet left off. Now, you did notice that I'm now using a small size umbrella, the Chromecast as a remote for the Chromecast, which is what happens to the cell phone. It will turn into a remote control, so you don't actually send constantly information from the cell phone or the tablet to the TV. Once you send that information, the Chromecast takes over, and the cell phone can act as a passive remote if you wish it to. Now, there are other options aside from just acting as a remote control. You can also use it as a cue device for the TV. If you notice here right now, it only has the one video because that's all I started to play. But if we shrink this down and go to, let's say, the Kelty bag here, we have a choice. Can add it to TV queue, or then these are other features because I'm the owner of the video, but let's say add to queue. So now if we bring up this video again, we'll see the queue. Once the umbrella video is over, it will go to the backpack video. So we're just going to hit play on the umbrella for a little bit. Mute that so I can show you some of the other features, such as when we lock the phone, the lock screen now becomes a remote. So we can pause, fast forward, skip, whatever, right from the lock screen. So I can pause it, and the video in the background pauses. We can also stop by swiping away the cast icon. And it tells the Chromecast that I do not want to play on the TV anymore, and then we'll come back to playing off of the cell phone. Now, as I said, that is just Chromecast for YouTube. There are other features. Well, here we'll turn off casting altogether. Before I leave Chromecast on YouTube, there's one last thing. If you click the cast button again, you will have a volume control, or you have the option to disconnect. We're going to disconnect so I can show you Chromecast on Netflix. So similarly, there is the cast icon in the upper right hand corner. You click on that and select the device you want. We're going to say Wanderer, and it's going to send that information over to the Chromecast. Now, Netflix is a little different than YouTube, so this is the new revamped Netflix Chromecast screen. And what we're going to do is come over here and attempt to find something under my kid's profile here that won't get me sued into oblivion for showing. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. I'll do Old Yeller here. So if we press play, at the bottom of the screen there, it did kind of have a little countdown timer. My video having a little trouble focusing. So what happens in the Netflix app is similar to what happens in the YouTube app. You'll notice that the cell phone peripheral now turns into a remote control. 30-second skip, play, stop, closed caption, volume, stars, what have you. Also, if you go to the lock screen also becomes a pseudo remote, which will allow you to pause, play, and what have you. So what we're going to do is we're going to open that up, and we're going to stop that because I do not wish to be sued into oblivion for showing how to use Netflix on a smartphone or tablet with Chromecast. So the next step also would be to click the Chromecast icon in the upper right and select this device, which will send a signal to the Chromecast, terminating its connection, and then we will go back to the Chromecast screen, which just has the picture on it. And like I said, there is the Chromecast home screen again after Netflix clears out. You'll notice it changed a little bit. Being in the upper left-hand corner, it now says Chromecast. The lower left-hand corner just has the time. And over in the left-hand corner, again, the location name. And briefly there, it did have my Wi-Fi name. As I mentioned before, you'll notice the left-hand side of the TV here. That is a cabinet, and that is partially why I have the Chromecast extender there. So the extender is bent around the side cabinet, and the Chromecast is dangling in the back. So next, what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you casting from a computer to the Chromecast. I will do both a tab as well as the entire screen, just to show you what that looks like. Here we're looking at YouTube. I already have a video preloaded. You'll notice right here to the right-hand side of the play bar is a play on TV casting icon. Also, if we come up here to the right, this is the Chromecast button. You'll notice that it has my Chromecast named here, as well as options and all that. If we click the arrow, we have choices. Cast this tab, optimize for audio, and cast this entire screen. Each one of these will look slightly different, and we will get into that in a moment, because I'm going to grab my camcorder now and show you how this looks in real time. Okay, first option is casting from the play bar. We click it. Up in the upper right hand corner, you get the choice of what device you want to play it on. We select the Chromecast, and you will notice your computer screen changes to this, and your TV screen in real time changes over to casting from the computer. Now, similarly to how you can queue up items on the smartphone, you can queue items from here as well. What we're going to do is we're going to tell it to stop casting. So here you can hear it picked up exactly where the Chromecast left off. Now, the other option we have is coming up here and selecting casting YouTube, which might be a little hard to see, I understand, cast this tab, or cast the entire screen. If you just click cast and you're on a castable screen, it will default to grabbing that information. So it'll automatically grab YouTube because it understands YouTube and sends that information over here. If you are not on, we're going to stop the cast. If you're not on a page that has a casting option, it will not automatically do that. Now, the other item that I was going to show you was casting the entire screen. So I selected that option, and we're going to say cast the entire screen. There you can see an exact mirror of what is on my computer screen at the moment. Now, the mouse is definitely much touchier and slow to response on the screen. However, this is also a means of, as I mentioned before, casting Hulu from your computer to the TV. Now, doing it this way, going to be slower because your computer is going to get the information first, play it a little bit, and then send it up to the Chromecast. However, if you make this full screen mode on your computer, it becomes full screen mode on the TV. And we're going to hit the play button here so that you can kind of see the delay. Actually, we're going to move to a part where you actually see a little movement. So there, you can see the left, the type of delay you're dealing with. It's not a long delay, however, it is a noticeable delay. And the quality of the video playing on the TV is not as good as when it was casting directly from the YouTube video. This is casting the screen so that you're not going to get that full HD look. Again, it might be a little difficult to tell, but that's a little grainier than it was when we were casting just the YouTube video. So just keep that in mind. It's an easy workaround, and I used to have an HDMI cable hooked up from the computer to the TV whenever I wanted to watch Hulu on the TV. Yes, I got a slightly better quality out of the video. However, doing this, I have the convenience of directly casting YouTube and YouTube and Netflix to the TV. And I'll take the slightly degraded quality of video to, one, skip ads, and two, be able to do this wirelessly and not have to have the computer directly in front of me. So that is what casting from a computer looks like. Hopefully you found it helpful. Okay, so hopefully based on the information and what you saw, you can better decide if the Chromecast is something that you want. Do the positives outweigh the negatives? Does the fact that you need a smartphone or computer to act as a peripheral to use it make it better for you than, let's say, a $99 or a $90 Roku? Some people need that physical, tangible remote because they don't have a smartphone or tablet, and they don't just want to be using their computer because if they're using their computer, they can sit in front of their computer and watch it. So hopefully I answered a few of the questions that you may have had about the Chromecast here. Again, for $35 to $32, depending on where you buy it, I think it's an excellent addition. Anyone's streaming arsenal or cord cutting arsenal. Like I said before, I have the Roku XS, but I also kind of kept this instead of giving it to my brother for $35, so I can watch my Netflix profile and not have to buy a new $99 Roku 3. It was well worth the investment for me. It might be well worth the investment for you. Only you know for sure, but hopefully some of what I showed you will help you come to that decision. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the area below. I've been Wanderer001. Thanks for watching.